you're.
would have choked up. I would have checking on that one.
So,
Worse than getting videotaped.
well, I know, but look, this you got a little C posture. That's okay. That's from being at a desk and doing those loans all day long. I call that computer posture. All right. Well. All right, so I just want to give you some ideas here that we just talked about, so you can remember. And this will go to your phone. You can watch it on your phone. It'll be sent as a text and as a video for your email. All right. So as I said, that shaft line I just drew, when you take the club back, the toe of that club, I'm trying to get it up in the air. I'm trying to get it almost 90 degrees. And that allows you to use what's called the bounce. The bounce is the bottom of the club. That's this part of the club. It slides along the ground. If you close the face and lean the shaft, the sharp edge is going to dig into the ground. It's really easy to hit it fat. So that's why I'm really trying to get you to stress leaning your weight over your front foot. Shoulders are level. You're going to get this left hand grip more on top of the club. So I don't want your trail hand to be underneath the club. Yeah, it's not going to be like that anymore. That's causing all your hook shots. All right, now the other thing is I haven't done a face on picture view yet, but I'm going to just switch this around. All right, so for lefties, you can see his feet. His front foot's slightly back of his trail leg. Okay, now as I indicated, slightly behind his trail foot.
Okay.
Yeah. So yeah. That's called an open stance. Yeah. Now I just want to go through this whole idea of how to regulate distance, because I spoke briefly about it. So a 20-yard shot is roughly, the hands are going to reach the top of the thigh and the shaft's going to be about parallel to the ground. So that's 20. All right. 35 is going to be slightly above the trail hip, right about there. So, you can do this in front of a mirror. And I will tell you, more golf is learned not using a club, just standing in front of the mirror, getting a feel for what your movement. That's called motion training. I used to do that for many hours, just standing there and practice in front of a mirror. And you could do that in your bathroom. Get your grip. Look at this crease here. Make sure this crease is between the chin and the left shoulder. This crease should be tight. You don't want to have a lot of people think that you grip a golf club with a separation here in your hands. It's really not. This thumb, your right hand thumb or your front hand, should be slightly to the left of center at about 11 o'clock, and this crease should form between the thumb and forefinger, should point to between your chin and your trail shoulder. Then your left hand grip should fit. The thumb on your right hand should fit right underneath the lifeline, right in here on the trail hand. And again, you want to feel that trail hand's more on top. So you have a unified look to your hands. You don't want to be like you have more underneath. And see what that does is it closes the face. And that's part of the problem. So back to this distance thing. Now we're going to the center of your chest. Here's the center of his chest. So his hand height, that's 50 yards right there. You're going right to there, 50 yards. 65, somewhere around the top of your trail shoulder. Right about there. And then a full swing for that club, would be just above the trail shoulder. And somewhere around 80 yards. So those are sort of how you would regulate your distance. All right, so here's you hitting one. You see that club face gets a little closed going back. And you come down right on the plane, so that's good. So that swing is pretty good. The one thing you do, and I haven't really talked to you about it, is you bend this front arm. We call it a chicken wing, sort of bending that elbow. Yeah. You get a little bit of that. So think of connecting that lead arm and keeping the back of this wrist flat. So you're going to do what's called a hit and hold exercise. I'm going to show you. Everything I say is being recorded, but so hit and hold is you're going to stop the momentum of the club head here and check that lead wrist. You don't want to do this. That's a bad problem. When you scull it, blade it across the green, what happens is the front arm bends and the front wrist bends. And you lean back. All three of those will be, and that's what you do in the bunker. guarantee you're trying to lift it out and lean back. So that's a problem. And we're going to get in the bunker, but I want to just give you a little bit of some bunker tips here so you can sort of rely on these. When you're not with me, you'll be, oh, okay, I got to remember what he said. Well, I can just go to the video. All right, so this is a wide base. This is the opposite of chipping. Chipping, your feet are close together on the front foot. Sand, you want to get wide. You want a wide base. Why? Because you don't want to be moving around in the sand. You don't want any... Why is this phone still on? Sorry. I got it. I'm going to send this to you. I think I already sent it, but I'll do it again. So, wide base. Yeah, there we go. I did send it. Now, you're trying to hit 2 to 3 inches behind the golf ball, right? You're better off taking a pretty good swing at it. In other words, you want to throw the sand onto the green. Your weight, she's leaning her weight towards her front foot here. She's not going to shift a lot of weight in the bunker. Her weight stays stationary there. Notice the wrist cock. Now, here's the key. When she comes through, she's going to hit behind it, but watch the club face. The club head passes the hands and it passes the ball, so it's actually traveling faster than the ball. But the face never closes in the bunker. So, procedurally, you're going to set the face slightly open before you grip it. So you just hold it there, then grip your club. You're going to have the face looking like this. Face slightly open. So when you come through, that's how the bunker shot's hit. It's not hit with this, not hit like that. So you're going to use the bounce of the club, and that golf club is going to skim the ground. You're going to hit about 3 inches behind the ball with an open face. No closed face, no hands forward, no weight back. When you swing through, this wrist can actually bend a little bit if you want, but the face can never rotate. So that's a big deal. That is the deal. Now, how precise you hit behind the ball is a function of how still you stay. If you move side to side, that's death in the bunker. If you shift back, that's death in the bunker. You're going to scull it. You're going to hit the ground. What will happen is you'll hit the sand first. The club head will bounce off the sand, and then as it's traveling up, because when you swing back, it'll hit the belly of the ball, the middle of the ball, and it'll go sailing. Of course, you've never done that, right? But yeah. So there's the motion. As she comes through, she keeps the club moving, and she's throwing the sand. What makes the ball go on the green? No. If you're a tour player, you can do that. But he's not a teacher, so he doesn't know. Well, right. If you're like Ballmer's kid or Warnquist, yeah, they can. Right. Don't stop. You're trying to, and your goal, look, watch the sand. You got to throw the sand out of the bunker. Out of the bunker. Yeah, it's got to go out. It's got to go out. That's huge. All right.